Hi guys, Jeff here from TAP with a very, very interesting case study for us that I want to share with you today. This was a very interesting job that took us a while to nut out, so I wanted to share it with you. What we've got is an FG Mark II LPG, Eco LPG model Ford Falcon here, the 4-litre engine with a charging system problem. Now it came to us from another workshop. They had put a new alternator on the vehicle, but the car still had very spasmodic charging issues, from no charge to overcharge warning light coming on the dashboard, or battery light flashing at different times, but just doing some really crazy stuff. Now, first up, we put the original alternator back on, was doing the same thing. We put the new alternator back in, doing the same thing. So we thought, well, okay, it's got to be. It's a smart charge, smart control system, Ford control system. So the ECU can control fine-tuning the alternator charge. If you unplug the regulator whilst it's running, it'll just go to a default 13.7 volts and stay there. Current will change as load is required. A warning light will come on. So again, this one's doing really, really strange things to it. So I'll capture a number of things. There are two wires, these two here in the fuse box here. These two are the two that go from the ECU to the alternator and back again. So it goes down to the regulator. The regulator has 3 wires, a sensing voltage, i.e. battery voltage, and then those 2 wires, one from the ECU to the alternator and one from the alternator back. So it's going to send a signal out with pulse width modulation, and then it will send a pulse width modulation signal back to the ECU to let it know that it's charging or not. Now, interestingly enough, when we first started scoping this, when you first connect up your scope, even with the car ignition on, you can see the blue channel at the top there is just sending a very small pulse width modulated signal to the alternator. The red line at the bottom of this particular case is the alternator signal back to the ECU. Once you actually then start the car, and I'll just put up another picture here, go back the other way. Okay, once we start the car and we got it idling, we now have a control from the alternator back to the ECU. That's the red channel. The blue can drop out. So if the car is at idle and there's no load change, the blue signal from the ECU to the alternator will drop out. It's not until you then put up some load that it will come back online. Now what was happening, this is where there's a bit of load, so we've got signals going to and fro. But what was happening in this particular case, interestingly enough, I'll just get a video up here, and we'll press play. And in this particular case, what we're looking at is again that channel. The blue is now from the ECU, the red is from the ECU to the alternator, the blue is from the alternator back again, and we're looking at the high-speed CAN, because we thought that whilst we're having problems with those signals, it might have been a high-speed CAN problem. So in this particular video, we've got the high-speed CAN running, as well as you can see both are dropping in and out. So we've got now both signals from the alternator. It's an idle, no load change, so it's only the blue one going back to the ECU. The other one's dropped off, but as this video rolls, you can see that intermittently we're losing both signals. And at that particular time is when the vehicle stops charging, and then it comes back online again. It just dropped out again, come back on again, change of load. So it was spasmodic, and we're getting that all the time. So we tried an ECU replacement. I hardwired the wiring from the ECU to the alternator to disinfect that there was any wiring issues. We've just checked it, and obviously the high-speed CAN was perfect. There was nothing wrong with that. And it was only by chance that I was up at Dean Barry's workshop when Wayne Brodie, ex-LPG specialist, said to me that vehicle has a different type of alternator. So the second model, so from the 27th of February 2012, any car after that model has a very particular alternator, different to the previous one, to the previous LPG one. So the Eco LPG runs a different alternator with a different style of regulator in it. 2 totally different part numbers. So we went back to the original alternator, ended up, it's got the wrong alternator on it. So it was fitted with the incorrect alternator. So it's a genuine Ford alternator purchased through an aftermarket supplier, but it's the standard BF alternator, which is standard, will fit the earlier LPG, but not the Eco LPG, which is the later one from February 2012. So again, in the end, it was a fault or incorrect alternator fitted to the vehicle. So we fitted the right alternator to it, pulled up the signals, everything was perfect. So a real tricky one to keep an eye on. We are going to put a repair solution on our website for this particular case, so if you ever have that problem again, with the actual original part numbers and the proper part number for it. So again, the right alternator was again purchased through Ford. None of the aftermarket suppliers actually had the Eco LPG alternator in stock. They had the previous one, which is a very common one, but not the actual Eco LPG. So correct alternator back in there, rewired it, repaired our wiring, etc., that we'd been mucking around with, and got it back together, and the problem was then solved. So a real bit of a tricky one, only until we found out from Wayne, pointed it out to us, that there's actually a different part number for the later LPG Ford cars. So just keep that in mind. As I say, we'll put that up on our website under the repair solutions. If you're not a member and you want to get access to all these repair solutions and our Good Scope scan data, just go to tap.net.au, click up on the Join Up Now button and become part of the great big network that we've formed, sharing information, knowledge and experience. See you next time.